a frequency from miles away. You come alive with one wine, baby. Hey. With you, I want to dance the night away. One jam to a lifetime, baby. So don't feel away. You don't like the fast life, eh? Look on the bright side, girl. I go take the play. Hey, I just want you come and vibes it up. Just a little winding up. Come and meet me behind the truck till we rev it up. Say all day, keep throwing it back. I know why you stop. Baby, no way. We could post up all the pictures you want when you're ready. I could over here, darling. You could over there. But we could meet in the middle and start a bacchanal. Stay in the middle, hey. What we go do now? Jam to a rhythm in the heat, a carnival. Don't get the heat, hey. What we go do now? Start to wine on it. I say, compromise on it. Daily, spend time on it. I say, compromise on it.
2 o'clock in the morning, my phone you're calling. When things get boring, it's back on all you want. I thought I was the one, I thought that this was love. But when I hear the scene, you know she's a right to be. No, I am the last train, heading down to San Fernando. Coming 34, wine up on you, unlock your door, open your window. Girl, I am the last train, heading down to San Fernando. Coming 34, wine up on you, unlock your door, open your window. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me, what she said. You coming San Fernando. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me, what she said. You coming San Fernando. 6 o'clock in the morning, the neighbor dog barking. I hear people talking. She tell me,
yes, indeed, of course. A pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, and South Central. Our friends in Tobago and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. Yes, of course, you know, the change of format is refreshing. Of course, it's strictly local, strictly local. Of course, we don't want to get tied up with, of course, any kind of intellectual property issues with respect, of course, to YouTube and the bringing of this program. I want, of course, from Monday to also have a simulcast between, of course, carried by YouTube, and it's a bit of doing, but I think we have the capacity and we have the technology, and we'll send it. We'll get back on Facebook as well. I think we need to expand our presence, and maybe we are looking at Instagram as well. So we'll have a three-part or a three-way simulcast. Let's hope that Instagram accommodates, of course, the length of our live that we would normally carry, which is an hour and a half thereabout. So let's take in some more music, and because we have some serious topics tonight. All right?
In this place, she tell me her name was Miss Grace. She said, boy, I still long. So Louis take a dance to this song. This still had to be the last one. So then I asked what she drinking. She tell me rum and Coca-Cola. So darling, come a little closer. She drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night. Then she look me in the eye. Say you ain't leaving here tonight. When that thought is one, she signal the bartender, bring it come. Start to jam all down to the ground. This kind of woman, when she come from, oh Lord, how she whining so. Just one more before I go. It was rum and Coca-Cola all night. Oh, now we walking up in the place. I can feel my face. And as soon as I hold she hand, who we go bounce up is the ex-man. Now they want to start a big fight, but I ain't come for that here tonight. So I'm picking up the next round. I ask them what all you're drinking. They tell me rum and Coca-Cola. Then she pull me a little closer. We drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night. Now it's plenty after 5. And the place still have a vibe.
energy. You could rock so, rock so. You could rock so. Stay over there with your bad energy. You could rock so. Live my life. I just wanna live my life. And I don't make my choice. So I go pay the price. Yeah, live my life. Just live my life. Yeah, I don't make my choice. So I go pay the price. Some of them don't rate me. Some of them they hate me. Some of them like bad on me. All of them could go their way. Some of them try laugh at me like I'm a puppy show. But I couldn't care less. All of them could rock so, rock so, rock so. You could rock so. Stay over there with your bad energy. You could rock so, rock so. You could rock so. Stay over there with your bad energy. You could rock so. Live my life. I just wanna live my life. And I don't make my choice. So I go pay the price. Yeah, live my life. Just live my life.
Yes, indeed, of course. You know, that is what I was in the background,
Thank you,
of course,
Simon, and
attempting
good
to
morning
get.
to
Let me just
my
pause this
parliamentary
before,
colleagues and
before, of course, we get into this. Because tonight's theme, of course, tonight's theme is whether these people have gone mad, stark mad. They really say that power intoxicates and make men giddy. They also say that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, Stuart Young and they are showing signs of all of the above. And it is not surprising and should not be to you as well as it is to me that they have this proclivity, this tendency to do evil, pretend that they didn't do it and it doesn't exist, worse yet, and then, of course, go on to the next, what I consider to be victim-oriented, malicious, meaning here, harmful conduct against the people in furtherance of their personal and, of course, institutional, meaning that the institution of the PNM, interests, plural. Yeah. I coined the term, of course, they operate in silo. So that they will make an argument for property tax, for example, and then come and hit you, the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, and then hit you, of course, in preparation for increase in electricity, and then hit you, of course, preparation for increase in water rates, and bring an argument that is independent of each other, totally forgetting or apparently oblivious to the fact that those taxes, those charges are coming from the same place. If you are a wage earner, the property tax comes from that source of income. The electricity will come from that source of income. The increase in water rate will come from that source of income. But they make separate and distinct argument, and it seems now to be very endemic and has, of course, saturated the entire psyche of the PNM. Because you cannot tell me that you are criticizing the present government, for example, of being harsh, of being inconsiderate. But one, you will not tell us, and the media has to be blamed, you know, for not inquiring, for not being sufficiently interrogatory. Because you cannot tell me what you would have done instead. You're boasting that you are the longest and the most Well, according to them, prevailing, they must prevail. But yet still they are in opposition. Yet still they are in opposition, but they must prevail. The PNM is great and must prevail. But they are now, of course, attempting, of course, to salvage and to get back where they were before, to continue, if not exacerbate, the harm, the shame, the disgrace, the pain, the ache, the agony, and the barbaric conduct that they would have exhibited. They have the audacity. Imagine I was part of it in pushback 1 and 2, when we simply said, well, you are no longer fit for government and we want you to resign. And they sent police to lock up 33 of us. I was not there, but my colleague, Michael Kerr, was part of that. And of course, on the second occasion, tear gas in retail, and they trying to play human and humane. Let's go to the lines. Let's make sure that everything is functioning here. Let me make sure that everything is functioning here, right? Bram, all right, and we have another one. Just hold on, caller. We just have to make some adjustments here. Right, you should be getting me now. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Yeah.
Caller?
Yeah?
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yeah, loud and clear, man.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, right, good, great.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Yes, man.
You hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear,
Right.
loud and clear as well. In
I tuned into your I tuned into your program earlier, and I saw Gary Sovers in the picture in the background behind you.
Yeah, he's still
Gary
there.
Sovers.
Yeah.
And I was so angry because I saw him early this morning on Breaking Dawn, Stefan Reed's program, and the headline caption, "Criminal probe into ATC with his government."
Yeah.
And I got so angry. And I asked myself the question here. Now, I know you'll say two things here, two phrases. They see in others which is in them.
Heavy,
And whom
heavy,
the God,
that's heavy material that you're bringing. Go ahead.
yeah, and whom the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. Right?
Full marks for you, man.
Whom the
Full
God-
marks. Yes.
Right. So it brings me back to Skinner Park. A man died on Good Friday, an international event. Now the criminal probe should be there, $131 million for a cycle truck that is a death trap because it was disclosed to be that. Plus the cricket ground is not the standard way it's supposed to be, so no football can play there. So any criminal probe has to be Skinner Park. I think they will get what they wish for. Right?
Yes, sooner
A man
rather
died
than
there.
later, hopefully, yes.
A man died here, Dr. Lennox. A man died.
Yes.
A family lost their husband, a father. Huh?
Yeah.
With all the corruption, with what's your good friend name, Garcia?
Yeah, Garcia, yeah. Not Anthony Garcia, that was the former sleepy-headed, don't know what is happening, totally,
Right.
totally illusionary former teacher. But we are talking, that is Anthony Garcia, but we have another one called Noel
not
Garcia.
Garcia,
Noel
Noel, I
Garcia
think
is the
Noel.
man who was at UDCOT, yes. And of
Yes,
course,
yes. So they
constructed
built
those tragic edifices or
Yes.
structures, yeah.
and here it is, we had the Cuba Cycling Track and Aquatic Center. That was world class. It's one of 5 state named as world class, right? And you neglected that for 10 years. 10 years. To bring us Skinner Park where a man died.
Yeah.
And what you all were warned about that's a death trap. Man died. And you want now to probe in something that is not even, it hasn't even begun.
is not even probable.
Well, yes.
But I'll tell you,
Right.
I'll tell you what is operating there, what they believe that they could get away with. But they are so myopic and so Jurassic and so in a state of obsolescence, so that they realize that we living in modern times where people can refute and investigate and instantaneously certify, ratify, or refute any allegation. But we will deal with that. Go ahead, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see, it's propaganda after propaganda is coming fast and furious,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
As I told Professor Wall Street some time back, PNM is good at propaganda. Plus, they have managed to keep black people ignorant.
Ah,
For
yes.
decades.
Yes. Conditioned over the
Yes.
years to, of course,
Yes.
hate their own kind and hate the self.
Yeah, they are
By
causing them so much
projecting
how
these
to remain.
vipers into office or propelling them into office. It has to be. How could you be so self-destructive? But of course, it is orchestrated by a group of persons who believe that they will have that kind of leverage, that kind of manipulative ability in perpetuity. We will examine that tonight. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, because you see, what these people don't realize is they are just the vote bank.
That's right, ultimately, because that is what...
They are just the
that-
vote bank.
Yeah, that brainwashing was set up for that purpose, full stop. Crapo
Right,
with
for
a tie in
generations, grandmother,
Laventille.
grandfather,
Yeah.
we have
Crap.
been doing the same thing, and there's an old saying, and a true saying, you can't be doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Yes.
It can't work.
Yeah.
It can't work, and this is why we're getting a backlash here now,
Yeah.
right? And they are fearful that this present government will succeed, which they will,
Of course.
right? Because they say, the scripture says, who God bless, no man curse. And
That's
Kamala
right.
is on the right track.
That's
He's on the right track. Yeah. So I have the virus. I don't want to stay too long.
Okay, no problem.
Right?
But it
so-
was
so
enjoyable.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So you take care, my friend.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks very much. Well, of course, in essence, as the caller rightly said, they have reached the apex or the terminus of their propaganda escapades that has now become so well known and familiar to even, of course, the very sycophants who are now, of course, turning their backs on the PNM. And all what he would have said there in synopsis, which of course I'm going to play him to make sure that you understand what is operating here, pure, as I indicated, siloism, where they want you to focus on what they are saying and trying to project that it's the UNC coalition of interests is in government, and therefore you should only focus on that and not focus on their past misdeeds, or put more specifically their past evils. And all what he was speaking about, as the caller rightly said, is seeing in others that which is in them, but of course to the point where not only is it exaggerated out of not just proportion but reality, but nestled in outright lies and figment of their respective and individual and collective imagination, as we saw nothing dissimilar to the emails. False. Nothing dissimilar to the false and yet to be fully investigated fake oil. Nothing dissimilar to Camille Robinson's taking out money, so she said, from one bank, depositing it in another bank, but the original bank had the same money. Nothing different. Nothing different. To kidnapping, of course, a citizen from Barbados and bringing them here, utilizing, of course, the CARICOM air security facility. You understand why we have to conclude that somehow there is a group of West Indians inside of CARICOM who believe that they are above reproach and that they have a license and therefore a monopoly on where CARICOM should go. And when somebody comes with a refreshing, different perspective, opening them up, they then of course coalesce. They tighten themselves. They conspire to suggest that any outsider to that cloistered club will not see the light of day. But this is a different time. You see, they did not cater for a fellow like me, for example, who will come here almost every night and, of course, examine critically the nonsense and the hoodwinking and the hogwash and the diatribe that they will spew on a daily basis, and, of course, subject it to critical, and I want to use maybe a violent term, but dismemberment. Yeah. Subjected to dismemberment, critically, incisively, yes, and surgically. That is what is required. And that is why they were able to only get 23 and 22 seats to run government, and if they got 21, that is all they wanted, and will make you and try to make you believe that they're large and they are in charge. That time, of course, is a false narrative. It's a false notion. It is, of course, a bunch of cowardice that has finally been exposed by the people because of their conduct in terms of the 28th of April last year elections. 28 seats in the tails. A pleasant good night.
Good night, Lennox.
Yes, my friend. Yes. Yes. You come in, man. Yeah.
All right, a number of points I want to talk about. First of all, the Muslim, let me pull back that word. The terrorist threat.
Yes.
Now, that is something as a country we have to address frontally. And we have to remember two issues, one in 1990 and one about 10 years ago somewhere down in South during a Muslim function where a bomb exploded or something like that. Now, we have been identified per capita, one of the countries in the first 5 who supplied, using the word supplied, ISIS fighters, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of them died, but some of them possibly have come back to Trinidad, right? The former ambassador to Trinidad, Estrada, the one who adopted Lavantil when he was here.
Yes, a Lavantillian in origin.
Right, and when he went back, he abandoned Lavantil. Now, in a New York Times, I think 3 years ago, article, he painted a picture about these ISIS fighters from Trinidad. And he said they were basically cherished in the ISIS fraternity, the caliphate, because they were basically competent and they could have spoken English. So they had a nexus with the hierarchy of the caliphate. And most likely, for them to have that confidence, they possibly have been radical to such an extent, there's no turning back. If some of these people has come back to Trinidad, then we have to be very careful. And I suspect the Americans are giving us intelligence with respect to that, because the Americans have lots of facilities in Trinidad and lots of assets. Exxon going to be coming here, Exxon going to be big, etc. So that to protect all of those from terrorist acts. Remember, we had the incident with the former junior minister of housing in bed with a gang leader, gang financer of the Sevens. And that information came back, passed on to the special branch, and the special branch passed it on to the leadership of the country at that time, and they brush it aside. Most of those people, apparently the UK has expelled them, and I believe we're monitoring them. So those are two issues we have to be very careful about, and we have to bat with the security forces. They're doing things, they're passing laws, the APIS, etc., who go in and who come in. But I am asking for legislation to be done forthwith. When the 114 that basically got freed, and they went through the whole process, there was some technicality. We have to fix that. And we have to make sure when death arises out of a terrorism act, remember 24 people died in 1998. They must be put to the gallows. And that is where our laws have to go. And we have to see how we can pass that. The added on benefit for that, criminals will start to get a little bit conscious about that. Because somebody who I interacted recently said he was there at the gallows. When the first one was executed, there was a sigh. When they moved the second one, everybody was praying aloud, they found God. So I am saying we have to be very careful about the amount of power we give to presidents. Remember, Carter gave the amnesty, right?
Yes.
Because New Hassan Ali was a thing. Mm-hmm. And Robertson basically agreed to that.
Yeah.
That shows the level of competency as a lawyer he was. He was under duress, fair enough. But we have to pass legislation to basically overcome that, and we have to do it quickly. And that will be a preventive measure, and it will be corrective action. We have to basically do that. The second thing, what do you call she? Bates, John, or John Bates?
Yes.
That is...
she take a lot of bait.
Right. Well, there's a derogatory term. Well, let me not go down that road.
I hear you.
That is what we call witness tampering. And I hope the LATT taken.
But I don't know. I got the impression that she may not be familiar with the significant, what I consider legal coverage, or put another way,
ramification
legal
of this, yeah.
cover that Joint Select Committee has. Otherwise, I don't think she would have gone down that road. But then, if you are PNM, you make the sacrifice to cover to make to sanitize the party in a particular scenario. But go ahead, yes.
Everybody pass have a lawyer. Small Pen, Marcel, etc.
Yeah.
We had an AG who didn't pass maths. Anything could happen, and then we have happened.
Yeah, they have institutionalized mediocrity. So I wouldn't be surprised if she did it out of ignorance, which of course is no excuse in this case.
And I just feel that they have a replacement. So she already, the fella from Tobago, is Ansel who stepped down from the race into...
yes, the Morris, the former loan secretary who lost his seat as well.
Right, so yes. I believe they like to find jobs for the boys, so they might give them that, because that leadership of the PNM was not being
Yeah,
judged.
and to give the impression that, of course, Tobago is not just being considered, but is independent of Trinidad. But
Right.
Trinidad decides whether or not he comes into the parliament. That is a
Right.
strange logic. Today, of course, on the ground report, I did in fact identify that kind of nonsense that they're trying to hoodwink that Tobagonians have rejected. Because if it is that you don't want anything that is Trinidad in the form of UNC to be connected to Tobago, then
Right.
of course you would be shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak, or you'll be contradictory
Yeah,
if it is that you accommodate a PNM in Tobago. And the
Right.
people have recognized that and they have dismissed the PNM once and for all.
They're
But go ahead.
playing-
Yeah.
They're playing catch up. So
Yeah.
let me get back to the John Bain story.
Yeah.
Witness tampering. Now, they say the Poya lawyer
Uh-huh.
and the Poya attorney general, you know, the one with the Muslim name,
Yes.
he was involved in advising, right? But they can't do him nothing. Because he
Yeah,
outside-
Al-Rari is all because he's not a member. But that Bates
Right.
incident is entirely different because she is a member and therefore you cannot coach.
All right.
If
But
you are a
listen to
judge,
this.
you can't coach the witness. Go ahead.
Let me put a big stone.
Go ahead.
The fact that the statement was sent to everybody within committee, right?
Yeah.
And they track it where the changes are made.
Yeah.
They track it also where Alwari made the changes to, right? But they can't
Yes.
do nothing. He outside that.
Yeah, he outside of it, yes.
Let me ask the lawyer a question. How we get it? You understand where I'm going?
Yeah. Well, it
Because
is
that's confidential.
usual conspiracy to engage, hoping that you wouldn't be caught. But Al-Rari is not a bright fella. He's always caught. He's always caught. I mean, let's take
But
Vincent
what
Nelson.
I'm saying-
Vincent Nelson, for example. But go ahead.
What I'm saying, somebody within the committee passed it on to him to vet
Well,
it.
well,
and make it
obviously,
changes.
Bates is there.
Yeah, Balmati is there and somebody else. No. I want to juxtapose that behavior. Remember this Poya lawyer and Poya AG? Remember. Let us go back to March the 3rd, 2017. In the newspaper, the Newsday. A court case brought against R&R, a former attorney general and a well-respected attorney. R&R, we know what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
A former commissioner of police, Gary Gifford, in that article said the police brought an additional witness statement for him to sign, and he said no way because he had already presented his witness statement. So they bring a statement, go back to the article, I will send you the article,
All right.
and you say no way, Jose, you're not going to sign it. No. You know what I say? Witness tampering, eh? Police involved in witness tampering, same thing. He gave a statement and they're telling him, hey, we are like that, do this. No. At that point in time, the ACIB was under him. And when you do the couture, you say, no, you don't want the ACIB under him. You want it removed. Connect the dots. So he is insert himself in the PAC committee, and he also inserted himself in the R&R. Our DPP failed to react. Now it is the time I'm seeing the police service cleansing corrupt officers. So this is one for them to look at. They mightn't be looking at it the way I am looking at it. A plain police investigated a plain, you know, Pink Panther, Inspector Puso?
Yes.
Right. No. The other one.
All right.
The other one is the former minister, the junior minister of housing. Look at this. The SOCA authority who investigating crime and thing passed on the information to special branch passed it on to senior government official. And at the same time, it's coincidental, our Attorney General said it is looked like a tip-off. So that promoting the course of justice, right? if the police, because at that same time, ACP, I don't want to call him, say, he looked through the whole of the police service and nobody investigated that. A messenger come back with the same information. Our Attorney General put it in Parliament. I am hoping the police have the good sense to investigate it, because that man, they have to do, I'm calling the former Union Minister of Housing, he should have been rubbed on, do everything, get deep into every personal aspect of him, because we have to go back to the statement that our Prime Minister made. Government official within CARICOM and respected person, don't be surprised if they are caught up in all of these things. Drug trafficking, this, that, criminal behavior.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So
But we have another caller.
Right.
Okay.
So they're supposed to rub him down, and I don't want to tell people because I don't want them to go and hide evidence and thing now. But they're supposed to do everything, take everything he have, and do a thing, and even go to all the official documents he have to present as a minister, and they will find out what he's doing.
Yes, yes, of course. But of course, the latest of that kind of what I consider to be undermining and subverting of the criminal justice system, quite apart from the fake oil matter, quite apart from the Vincent Nelson matter, as when, of course, yet to be rectified or to be confirmed is why Fitzgerald Hines found himself in the car park under the Ministry of National Security to receive a check himself from, of course, a sitting, I understand, PS. And, of course, soon after that, the whole issue of who in the Ministry of National Security gave authorization to the police, and by virtue of that office, get a plane under the security apparatus of CARICOM to take police officers to Barbados to, according to our courts here, kidnap Brenton Thomas. It is in that melee, is in that pattern of behavior in criminal circles or law enforcement, it is called modus operandi, method of operation. But let's go to the line. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. This is San Fernando.
Yes, San Fernando. Go ahead.
I see talking about desperate PNM opposition, desperation by PNM.
Yes. Desperation, man. What Shortong had to say, I mean, it goes beyond that, but I couldn't find the most appropriate word, but something close to it, which in itself is an indictment. But go ahead.
But you had a caller just now who talked about Skinner Park.
Yes, Skinner Park, yes, and the fact that a probe should be entertained, a probe should be launched into that, and the cost, because Short Young was talking about probe into the HGC, very transparent, public statement made by HGC, and there are certain legal provisions for objections, all of that. But he comes there and trying to say that is something untoward, that is something corrupt, and that, of course, his cabal illusion that, of course, has floundered or has collapsed in the courts, especially when one looks at the counter charge for the government by Namalco, who got almost the same amount of money court awarded to him, like what they say he couldn't make, and therefore was part of a cabal, and put that matter in court. I'm sure that in the fullness of time, those matters will be withdrawn. But go ahead.
So he calling for probes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. He
Just
calling
tell
for out of the blue,
Yeah,
Gesso.
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
some companies get the all clear from agency. He calling for investigation because Gesso he come up with the idea that he could say that, like how Rowley would say things like that, email gate, and of course, and calling people wajang and all kind of slut talk. He has adopted that as well. That buffoon and parrot just regurgitating nonsense. But go ahead.
All right, listen to this. The need for oil is a big reason why non-oil producing countries stay in the international market system. There are 100 or so developing countries that possess either no oil of their own or only a small amount. Over 80% of all developing countries, and if they want to have vehicles to transport food from rural to urban areas, if they wish to have any kind of mechanical equipment, if they want their fishermen to have oil to power their boat engines, then they need oil. If they have no oil supplies of their own, developing countries need to export goods in order to earn foreign exchange, to buy oil. And they shut down Petrochem.
For reasons we are yet to uncover. Yeah, because they have given us several reasons. A bullet payment of 800 million US. Then they come back and say that they have decided to get out of the oil business. Then they said that they were losing $7, $78 on a barrel when they refine. And then Imbert come back and say that the oil refinery, when it was operating, was operating at a net profit, a net benefit of foreign exchange earning.
To the country.
To the country,
No.
yeah. To the country,
So
it's ours. Yeah,
so
go ahead.
The probe should only be in Skinner Park.
The what?
The probe.
Oh,
should
no, not at all, because I will go further to say that that is really part of a slush fund, and people like the head then of UDICOT are talking about Garcia would have been the agent that Rowley and they would have reposed their confidence in to generate slush fund for either the construction of, or put in addition to the construction of Balize House, to of course have campaign money available. That's what has happened. All those community centers that there's no need for all over the country, they constructed. They even constructed 1 or 2 libraries and all. These days, you don't need a library in modern times. You need what? Computers and connectivity. Give the children and them the laptops and give them connectivity wherever. Cover the whole of Trinidad and Tobago with internet. That's what you need to do. But because they want to thief the money, they generate and manufacture these schemes. And of course, it is so clandestine that they even sign, of course, non-disclosure clauses galore in order to prevent you and I from knowing where our monies, hard-earned monies, are going. But go ahead, or we're going.
I'm going to. So you understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Stuart Young and that whole bunch, like they just gone.
Berserk. The intellectual and cognitive decline. Yeah. They're mad.
So you shut down a whole oil company that was supposed to employ people with the boats and the whatnot, who have the little boats, people depend on movements, with the vehicles, right? Because oil gasoline will come out from the oil to supply, gas to vehicles to move goods from one place to the next. So it's not just people who was working in Petrochem itself, right? But they had other people who were depending on that to move the goods.
No, when you made a very very good point, and I want to tell you, go to the top of the class, because you're talking about Trinidad and Tobago's strategic geographic location. Apart from, of course, just outside of the hurricane belt, but we are the gateway to South America and access to Central and North America as well. A tremendous market that we by ourselves can't even supply because of the amount of millions. Venezuela alone have 17 million. Go ahead.
Yeah. So where should the probe really be? These fellas should be in jail all now. You know, languishing in some corner of Trinidad and Tobago. That they just show them and lose them. This is my
the old people have a saying, "What a meteor pass you." So why is a backside palpitating and hoping that that day will not reach? But when it does reach, as Rowley would see, as Young would see, and of course all of them who have of course done the level of injustice to Trinidad and Tobago, and then trying to project themselves because they have some kind of lease by way of gullible electorates who would have elected them to a place where they have perverted. It's very unfortunate, but they are going to get it because, as I say, the old people have a saying, "What a meteor in pass you." Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. But one last point.
Go ahead.
I understand now, well, I ain't see it yet, but cutting grass was CPEP thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now I understand that there's a change in the system, right? And the minister have changed up the whole thing. CPEP is now involved in fixing roads, isn't it?
Right. That development I have not been abreast of, but I will not be surprised because you deploy labor. For example, the whole question of farming. It's not that we don't have the land, not that we don't have the crops, not that we don't have the market, no domestic and potentially exportable, but what we don't have is people gravitating as far as employment opportunities and labor is concerned in order to till and to, of course, you have modern technology and so on, but at the end of the day, you cannot eliminate the ever dependent fingers or arms of the human being. But go ahead, and therefore labor.
You know, so this is my contribution for the night.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I want to say thank you.
Okay then. Same to you, my friend, for throwing some more light onto the discussion, because none of you knew exactly where I was coming from, but yet still you are able so far to, of course, make your inputs, because it is simply about making certain that we are not hoodwinked and that we do not labor under the delusion that somehow these people can be of benefit to Trinidad and Tobago moving forward. They will talk that talk, but they have been given the opportunity on numerous occasions and have not walked the talk. Because as the saying goes, an ounce of action is better than a pound of talk, and they have a pound of talk. In these days, of course, you may have to use the other form of measurement, whether you say liter or whether you say gram. It doesn't matter. It has the same impact. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and all your listeners in sundry east, west, north, and south. Every night I will beg from Monday to Thursday, because he relax on a Friday, enjoy the Saturday,
yes,
and we set on Sunday to start on Monday.
It's about time. Oh gosh, I had to get rest. If Jesus Christ rests, if the Lord rests, if God rests, who is me? They say that walk though dead is man does die. So I want to make sure I stay a little longer.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that is good. But you see, India worked for 10 years straight, and yet still we can't find the money in the economy and the reflection or we spend. So it's good to take a little holiday. The only time we take
well,
a...
well, you see, there's a difference between work and scheming.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
you exert energy. You see, work is defined as, of course, energy and mental capacity. So he exerted energy and mental capacity over time, but for reasons that are not in the best interest of the people for whom he would have been given that responsibility. All right? So the big difference. But go ahead.
Yeah, but no, that fella behind you, watching you with a skin, right? He was in energy, but he didn't possess that.
Yes.
He didn't possess that. And then he was appointed prime minister, and he could not possess the energy to master the masses, to hoodwink them.
And they love to call people stupid. They love to call people immortal, a certain parliamentarian, of course, very rudimentary, puerile attack. He said, listen, you don't know basic maths and so on. But he missed both on the expenditure side and the income side, $3 and $1 billion respectively. He can't find it at all. But he calling opposition at the time, having no ability to do basic maths. Boy, these fellas and them has to be gathered one place and deal with them as treasoners, as persons who, of course, have betrayed the trust of the people. But, of course, I don't want to incite, so I'm not going to go further.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Because there is a fellow who is sedition, treason, right?
Yeah.
On the books. He leave it. He didn't know what I to leave it for.
That's what they should be accused of, and action taken criminally. But go ahead.
Yeah, and that is why in your contribution, you want to know with 21 how the rule is Bridget and he said, George, the House Speaker, that anytime.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, we just talk, I give way. No problem.
No, because I was just saying the institutionalized mediocrity and corruption.
Yeah, and that's how they had the way for the last 10 years.
That's
the
right.
The EDC under the family, Rowley them family, right? Give them this last 5 years.
Unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And that is so despicable and so egregious that it is unfathomable, and no one could countenance that people would think that far just to stay in office to do your own people harm. And we have no obligation to make certain that they never get back into office. No, we would be like them, betraying the trust of the people, one, and our country, if we do not take action as we are taking tonight and other nights and years ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because when you see it, now they're talking that they lost touch with the people, and it's the same people that want to come back and say that we didn't give all the CPEP and we didn't give all the URP, and it's the contractors who making the lump sum. $1.4 billion, share that over the 400, then CPEP and workers, it added on by the minute, even the shadow, and what they are the sunshine on them, they had 3 and 4 shadows, so it added up as workers. But $1.4 billion share over 4,000 workers. Let me put another figure. See what money they get for 10 years. They suffer the people. Now they want to come back to thief out the energy sector. But Stuart Young's supposed to say that what is the deal with the manatee, right? And the dragon. Don't put the two of them together, right? And tell them what is the spin-off we're supposed to get. And property tax. People want to go back to property tax. When them talking, what I want to ask people, if a URP worker working for $600 a fortnight, right? And you got to pay $800 a month for property tax, how are you making that and sending to school 3 children, paying and putting food on the table, and them, all you hear, the bank, the merchant bank, get $5 billion in contract added up and more, and excusals, How you as a URP worker going to support yourself and your child? And that is what all is it. When the UNC came in power, the last from 2010 to 2015 is for the people. Then is the people who say box train government give it the small man a box train. Now they have money in the economy and is fighting to balance it off. And on this note, I want to say, Uncle Lennox, because I'm not hearing your callers saying, kudos and very good interview to the Honorable Finance Minister, Mr. Deperate, Tanku, for that speech and that interview with the IMF media in Washington. People must watch it and understand that is a minister for the people, and that is where it's set down. It's not that he went there and skinned, geek, and he priced a gas and used austerity measures from the IMF. What India do? He didn't do that. He moved it, and easy by step, they start with the program in the ministry or local government to hire people to try it out and see how it will work and bring it back under the corporations. And you'd say, or nobody wants to highlight that, and Stuart Young and them, what they do for the people. When India meet with the IMF, what do you do? Property tax and the favorite song for roadmap.
Yeah, and come telling us that if it was the UNC, they would have gone to the IMF. But we're not going to the IMF. But of course, start to implement across the board IMF measures, austerity, they call it belt tightening, for another term that is used in lieu of that. But the fact is that it was pressure after pressure after pressure, as I alluded to, of course, the various taxes that they were imposing on us, but in a silo, making an argument for each one, distinct and separate, trying to make the population believe that the payment for that by taxpayers ain't coming from the same pool of money, especially if you are a salaried person. I mean, it's total conmanship, and con and womanship, and we must, of course, expose them for who they are and what the intentions were. I just played something before I came on from Imbert, trying to make property tax and the rental tax, the landlord tax, one and the same, by saying, listen to what they do. That is the kind of semantics, and we have to be very, very careful with these people, because it sounds good for the unesoteric, for those who don't know them and who would be lured and be hoodwinked by them. So here he say we had 2%. We lowered ours to 2% property tax. He's talking about it, but their property tax. Notice he didn't say landlord tax is 2.5%, suggesting that somehow both of them are the same. When in fact, every person in this country must and would have had to pay taxes once you own a piece of property or you occupy it. Whereas this particular tax is on an illusion that you're renting, because that's the basis on which the tax was calculated. But in this particular case, the landlord tax is you actually have to have renters. You actually had to have people renting your property. And secondly, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago's property are not for rent or not engaged in renting. That is the big difference. But they will not say that. Like how we talked about, of course, the country running on fumes. Let's be careful. Country running on fumes. At that time, of course, we had $12-point-something billion there in reserve. And then, of course, by the time they came out of office, that $12 billion was reduced to $4 billion. But you come back now talking about making it look as though property tax and landlord tax is one and the same. Be very careful. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, and I like how you bring that there, because I will say now, right? What the TTRA, the Revenue Authority, right? And he talk about what they will tell you. If you have a little store shop, selling store or Tulum, they say no, but the TTRA is for tax. But when this finance minister say that he strengthened the border inland revenue to go and to to do the assessment, right? Because the kind of corruption it had in inland revenue, the officers them go in and they see the people and they meet the people and they get the correct information. You know? But if you do a financial search on them, you might see an increase in the wealth. But anyway, we are going there. But what I want to tell you, that is based on the inland revenue, right? Anything you earn, that is the earnings, right? When you earn, you pay. Dr. Abraham said, to earn, you have to pay.
That's the natural principle. You don't want to earn and you want to pay and you're not earning anything. So that's a fair arrangement, a fair system, a fair arrangement. But I'm glad that you mentioned the TTRA, even though of course you said that it may not be relevant, but it is from the point of view of their scheme and their hoodwinking propensity, because the TTRA really and truly was a construct of IMF prescriptions. Because why I'm saying that? Because when the amnesty, remember there were about 3 or 4 amnesties.
Oh yeah,
tax amnesties. Well, listen, in those specific instances, it was the same Imbert claiming that the workers in the Inland Revenue Department are ineffective, inefficient, etc. But he took his own mouth, because who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. He take his own mouth when they had the amnesty. He said, listen, we expected 2 billion and we got 3 billion. He wanted to thank the Inland Revenue Department employees for their efficiency. How come in that situation they were able, of course, not only to come up to scratch, but you were able to commend them because they did what you wanted. And as soon as you wanted to implement the IMF prescribed measure, you then said, of course, they are ineffective and inefficient. Tanku is correct. You give them the tools and you generate the enforcement of the rules and the regulations so that people function at the administrative and other levels in order to collect the taxes and treat with the country's revenue as it ought to be, and give them the necessary incentive. Certainly, we're going to get the optimum from these workers. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they're flaunting, but if the property tax was across the board, they reduced corporation tax and environmental tax for the big corporation and them, and put it on we. And a vote for PNM is for local constitution reform. But Rowley say, don't come by here for a school. Don't come to pick up your rubbish by here. You have to pay for it. Eh?
Yeah, that is after, and they coined that argument to say that it is for supplying or servicing those local government bodies, those corporations. But it was just another, should I say, line, another cliche that they would have used to implement something that Rowley said was dastard, was wicked, was diabolical, and that the PNM will never implement. You cannot trust these people.
Yeah, and all our call the name Dan Paul refer to his statement and them because they feel they forget what they say. But the nice thing about it, Stuarty have plenty questions to answer. There's 9 months. He responsible, right? He responsible for the energy sector, but Perenco have a piece, and he gave his friend and family the whole of heritage in Southwestern District here. He share it up like the Romans.
He's yet to tell us how the failed, damaged, blown up Naikwan got their gas because it was ministerial gas. So the minister will have a certain amount of play, a certain amount of leverage, and he directed there, and we lost everything, including, of course, the government influence, credit, and loan that was extended to the administrators of Naikwan. And today they are winding up now, the entire thing having been bust, and of course the PNM associated hitched their wagons to that, saying it is unique. And another, of course, a fiasco, just as Malcolm Jones under the PNM. We had another mini tragedy of tremendous economic loss of foreign exchange by the support for that kind of measure that was nestled, of course, in corruption and nepotism and cronyism, as we have seen across the board with these people. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, and no, we, the supporters and the callers, have to ask the present energy minister to make it public and he cannot deal. Stuart Young and Mark Lukwan and Allison signed, right? And what is the contract? Make it public because it's we taxpayers' money.
That's right.
Because
It was our bank, Republic Bank. It's our bank coming out, of course, of the CLICO arrangement. That in itself, of course, was a nasty effort to try to stymie entrepreneurship and people who would have rose to the top of their game. They generated a disincentive that I think will never settle well, not only with entrepreneurs and the motivation thereof, but with the country, reasonable people who see the assets and the efforts of these people just frittered away by a group of individuals who are pure opportunistic political parasites.
And NGC with NGL, with the parent company is NGC. You hear the payment they're going to make to the dividend. You know what to do in Republic Bank and also in the money market fund?
Yeah, he have a problem with that. He's still have a problem with that, which of course you will see tonight.
Yeah, and then I will go there because that is always coming in your program and distract you. But then in the Republic Bank, in the money market, for the last 10 years, them stinking dog was there. Then that plan under Republic, where it invested, it do so bad. You don't ask them dog going on and change the board at Republic Bank. You start to see dividend down here too.
Dividend across the board. Dividend at NGC, dividend, of course, across the board. And you have a choice of being paid in US because the people invested their money in US. Stuart Young, one that he said that should be retained revenue. But when they were there, not only did they deplete the retained revenue, but NGC bust twice. And they have the audacity to stand up in our faces and talk. No. The population are aware. And if they are not, we will make them aware. Right here on the corridor and elsewhere. All right, my friend. Let me just get to that video now.
But we have to keep the fire burning.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Definitely, man. Yes. Let's go to and here's Stuart Young now as he rant and rave. I don't want to preempt anything. Last night I give you a forecast, if you want to call that, of what the video was all about. Now I am going to not do that. I will have you assess for yourself. The video last night was, of course, that of the Secretary General of CARICOM and how she left out any salutations or reference to our Prime Minister, but yet still you have people like Amy Brown Andy saying that it was Kamala Prasad-Bissessar was disrespectful. How ironic and how unpatriotic and how self-serving and how political parasitic one can be simply because you are out of office and you want to get back into office to do people harm and evil.
To the wider viewing public of Trinidad and Tobago, and as well to our friends from the media. As MP de Nobrega indicated, I have to leave a bit early. Unfortunately, I have professional commitments in my life outside of politics, and I am required in court in a short while. This morning, there are a couple topics that I'd like to deal with as we come here once again to really to save the population and to provide the truth and to provide the population with facts that we challenge those on the other side, whether it be the Prime Minister, whether it be the ministers, whether it be the chairman of boards, whether it be the officers who are assigned with the responsibility on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago to manage our affairs, to contradict with facts, and as young people love to say, receipts. Bring your receipts, because you will note that they are never able to bring receipts to contradict the truth that we in the People's National Movement continue to espouse.
Of course, I'll pause from time to time in this particular case. So the format a little different tonight. But let us take it as we get it. I mean, come on. Our administration, when in government, the PNM that is, you had, of course, endless, numberless. You cannot recount how much, apart from, of course, the recusals in the cabinet. But I'm talking here about non-disclosure clauses. But he's talking about receipts in the context of transparency. But that is the level of buffoonery we have. He believed that he could be an ostrich and bury his head in the sand. And we, who seeing everything exposed, win, of course, should I say, pull the delight out of it. And I'm being kind here. I could have used a more aggressive word.
On behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I'll start first of all this morning with what last week was described by Kamala Prasad Bisesa as the crown jewel of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago that is owned by us, the citizens and the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. Because last week, we had the Prime Minister go in no other place than the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago and mislead the population with respect to NGC. The first thing is, anybody who understands finances will know that unaudited accounts have a lot of salt to take with it. Not a pinch, a bag of salt. To come to the Parliament to make an announcement about NGC on the basis of unaudited accounts is not only frightening, it is dangerous.
Now, tell me something. Comparatively speaking, if a company was making, let's say, $2, and for whatever reason, because he is going to tell us why the very thing that he is complaining about, you're going to see where he will justify how that money came about. I promise I would not preempt, but let me just comment here by simply saying that you're now making, instead of $2, you're making $500. And the accounts, your books are not audited. And the minimum you will expect is that you are now making much more than $2. This buffoon is saying that it is unacceptable or is not permissible to make that kind of common sense assessment from moving from a loss to $3 billion. That is no easy or no insignificant amount. So you can afford to talk that. Why she cannot talk it? And what you give? Anyway, let me go further.
And the questions that we ask are, where are the audited accounts? Another question that arises is it that management, so what they basically have done is they have put together these accounts. That's what unaudited accounts mean. Because an auditor takes accounts produced by the management of the company and it looks at it and it does an independent analysis to see whether they agree with it or not. If they don't agree, they tell the management, we don't agree with this, change it. Otherwise, we are going to qualify your accounts. So it is very dishonest to come prematurely with unaudited accounts. But you see,
he believed that the UNC is the PNM, that they engage in hoodwinking and deception. That is what he is attempting to do. And focusing on the unaudited nature of $3 billion. $3 billion at any stretch of the imagination is plenty more money than, I understand, since 2017 or further back. That kind of money did not come into the coffers of NGC. So why not? What's the problem? and have the audacity to insert that is dishonesty. Have the audacity. Nobody in the government, including the Prime Minister, never said whether it was audited or unaudited. What they said is that is the money that they have acquired. And more than that, he himself is saying that the first stage of an audited account is that the people inside, the accountants and so on, must first put the material together, and then the auditor will now come and say, well, listen, this add up, that didn't add up, etc., etc. That stage ain't reached yet, but that stage has to come. But it is good news on the face of it to move, as I gave you the example, from $2 to $500, and that is good news, and therefore the government has signaled that the situation is now improving exponentially. That is what that statement is all about, not this hogwash about being dishonest because it was unaudited accounts, etc. That is ocious, that is irrelevant, Stuart Young. And you ought, of course, to be ashamed to come and bring that simpleton argument to a very educated population.
That is done for a reason, to mislead the population and to provide, a smoke screen, as this government constantly does. Questions. Did the management reverse impairments to come up with this profit? Impairments meaning that if accountants, they have certain rules and regulations that they must abide by, that if you see a disaster going to happen, you must provide for it. And that has been happening in the past. There have been impairments put on NGC's accounts. Did the management reverse these impairments to make it appear as though there is profitability? That's it.
So you move from $0 to $3 billion, and by any stretch of the imagination, this fella Young can't understand that there is obvious. Your common sense will tell you that there is profitability and no impairment, which of course is a term that they use to write off certain things so that it doesn't find itself in the books, so to speak, because it is written off. Here it is. By any stretch of the imagination, whatever impairment, whatever write-off, the fact of the matter is that is what was made. And we're going to see when the audited accounts come, because they are talking already about paying people in US dollars, as was the arrangement when people made their investment.
The first question. The second is where the audited accounts. The third is, as we raised last week, Friday, immediately, because we are the ones, no matter how you talk about destruction over the last 10 years, that is not true. I repeat here today, once again, everything that this country is experiencing in increased production in the gas of Trinidad and Tobago is on the basis of what took place under the PNM in the last 10 years.
You see, one time, a blatant and unadulterated lie. He's trying to tell us that the NGC didn't bust for 2 years. That's what he's trying to tell us. And then skip that and want to jump to what the benefiting now is what they put in place. Well, if you know that they are benefiting something, why the hell you come and say earlier that it might be no benefit, but they're trying to scheme the people? You had to be what I consider to be a discombobulated nincompoop, Stuart Young. You cannot be blowing hot and cold and out of both sides of your mouth. What nonsense is that? You're saying that you are in disbelief earlier that such profit was made as announced by the Prime Minister. Now you're saying now that the profit that she's talking about is what you and your government failed or passed to be more appropriate, put in place. Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it that you are accepting that there was in fact an increase from the $2 example that I gave to $500? And therefore, it is right for, of course, an announcement to be made to, of course, appease, if not to politically benefit, of course, the current incumbent or administration. And why not? It is a tremendous achievement, comparatively speaking. But here it is attempted to, of course, neutralize or to downgrade the significance of that development. He now says that, listen, we were responsible, but skip over the fact that NGC bust under them for the first time, at any rate. First time, bust under the PNM.
And I dare them to bring receipts to show differently. So with NGC, one, the increase in the price of gas that we now get, and it is important. In fact, I was going to prepare a graphic, and I will do it later on. And
so now, he is now justifying. Nobody asked him, notice that, but he justifying the announcement that was made by Kamala Prasad Bisesa that there has been an increase. And of course, you on your own will know that, of course, the war with Ukraine continues between Ukraine and Russia, and of course the problem in the Middle East has also caused energy prices to skyrocket. And therefore, those will be the natural benefit. Of course, he somehow is claiming that is them do it. He is claiming that them start the war in Ukraine, and now he's saying now them start the conflict in the Middle East. What else you gonna say? Because don't matter where, whether it be Brent, whether it be of course West Texas, whether it be those markets, those markups that determine price of these commodities. It doesn't matter. It's what.
Lennox.
Yeah, hey.
Lennox.
Yes.
It's
Go ahead.
Audrey. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Rest. Yeah, now your vectors are calling you or what?
No. But I'm on air right now. 1 and 2 are coming up by you over this weekend.
Yeah, but with your coming with the minister and them, however.
I coming for you to show me what first, and then I will come with them during the course of the week.
Right, I know you're on your here, my woman. Or you haven't maxed to go by UNC thing.
Yes. Love will be participating. We'll have our own maxi. So if you want, we will be leaving from George Street, our resource center.
What? All right, thank you. Right, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
But you're coming by me, you go tell me when, right?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. You know, I go drop in by you anytime. Because I need
but
to see.
Saturday, it's not Saturday thing with
No, it's not this Saturday, it's the next Saturday. The 25th.
Okay, then, right.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be waiting for you, darling.
I know that. And I'll call you when I'm making sure. I see you have I see you hugging up a nice man in your profile there. Your dream come true or what? Your dream come true? I don't talk. Never don't tell people your business. Never don't tell people your business. All right. Yeah, that's one of our colleagues and, of course, activists in the Laventille area. In fact, she's at Chumakak, at that end of Laventille. So we have, of course, we are here in the western side at the east part of Spain, in East Port of Spain. And then, of course, you climb over the hill and you go over and over, and then, of course, you get Chumakak as well. Part and parcel of that whole geographic chain of, let's say, mountains or hills, as the case may be. But that being as it may, here it is, of course, whether it be Brent, whether it be West Texas, whether it be North Sea, whether it be, of course, the Japanese markup, whether it be the Asian, Australian, wherever markup that are paying more for oil. And I agree that they were the ones that made the arrangement to expand and to, of course, sell where the price is high. That is common sense, but the reality is that he is now confirming that it was possible. No, notice earlier he was saying that he had his doubts that the UNC is dishonest and that it may not be that kind of profit you're talking about. Now, your common sense, you already know about the Middle East, you know about the Ukraine, and therefore you know also about the increase in prices of these commodities. So here it is. He is confirming that wherever we sell for the highest bidder, the possibility that $3 billion was made is real. Yet still he comes and tells us it may not be. Which one it is? Which one it is, Stuart Young? You are puerile, you are dunderheaded, you are politically inept, and I want to say you are still, as far as I am concerned, a neophyte. I don't know how Rowley could force ripe you, as my mother would say, and put you in the office of Prime Minister. Good thing the PNM, as well as the population, had the good sense to know you ought to be jettisoned. Let's go, of course, let's continue with this madness that is Stuart Young and the hogwash that he is speaking.
Graphic, because it is important that we in Trinidad and Tobago see we negotiated, as we announced to you in 2018, 2019, a new price for gas in Trinidad and Tobago. Henry Hub is where our price and our marker, which is an American sales price for natural gas, is based. So every night on the television, you see them still referring to natural gas price, and they put up the Henry Hub price. It's currently at $2.80. $2.80. Today, that is where Henry Hub is at. The PNM had the foresight, and we negotiated hard, and it was difficult and complex negotiations. And we got a new price for gas from Trinidad and Tobago, and it is a basket price. A third is based on the Asian market, something called JKM. JKM is at $19. Compare $19 to $2.80. The second third is based on European markers, either TTF or NBP, which are currently around $15. So you have a third at 15, a third at 19, compared to $2.60. And the other third is based on liquids, oil. And we all know what is the price of oil today, how it has escalated within the past few weeks above $100. Today, Brent is at $95.
Although want me to play back what he said earlier, that the $3 billion that Kamala talked about in the parliament may not have been alluding, of course, to other issues that may cause that not to be. But let's go to the line. Let's go to the line. I mean, it is just amazing. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, Doctor, good night.
Good night to you, my friend. I'm having fun here with, of course, a person who was gladly, of course, very short, but nonetheless, on the books, a former prime minister. A total buffoon. But go ahead.
Yeah, good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Good night, everybody. Doctor, here what's going on?
Yeah.
You know why Rowley the truth is? Because Rowley just has British yeah. Yeah, because there what's going on, you're tired together. Doctor, yes, God bless me. You tap your foot like a battle crab.
I'm telling you, he tap himself. He give me all the rope. He give me all the rope to tie him up. More rope than is required. This man is a total backside.
Yeah, Doctor, you know, God bless you, man. You understand? And the can't stop you.
Thank you very much, of course. Yeah, well, but coming from you, I realize that you understand now what we are dealing with.
Yeah.
And those illusionary facts. Yeah.
Because them will fool who they could fool, you know.
Yes.
Now watch me. I don't know UNC until I dead and all kind of thing. You understand?
Very good.
Once I see you're wicked, Because if you have love for the people and you're making mistake, it's different.
Yeah.
You see, when you're
But
wicked,
you would know what is a genuine mistake as opposed to somebody who deliberately trying to hoodwink and deceive and to pretend what they are saying is what is facts, when in fact your common sense would tell you want to know, well, what is this distortion? How this man could try to insult my intelligence in that way and have all the apparatus to do that. He's in front of the media and saying that.
Yeah.
But go ahead, my friend.
Yes. Yeah. So, Doctor, I just thank God for a man like you. You understand? And we have to leave everything in the hand of the Father, you know.
Oh yes, and he's doing a wonderful job in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, them will fool look at what I wanted to say now, as I say, I is not to you until I did. You
Right.
understand? If you're doing stupidness, I personally in voting for you.
Right.
Right?
That's only fair.
If I see somebody, if Kamala, if Miss Kamala and them do stupidness, I looking for a new party because I'm not going back with no PNM. You understand? Because you see under that rowdy, although it was in the party because we'll say they're in power for so long. And look at the condition of the place. So when you check it out, we have to change. We have to change them. It's no two ways about it. Because look how long they've been in power. Right? There's oil boom after oil boom, and look at the Trinidad.
Yeah.
Look at the crime. Look at
everything has gone wrong. Everything has collapsed. Everything has unraveled. And gone south. Deteriorate.
Right. The closing down. Although me and saying Prime Minister Kamala in making mistake. She's not God. She go make mistake. You understand? But what I observed the PNM, man. It's no mistake with them, man.
Deliberate. That is deliberate. You can't tell me he was the minister. He knew. He understand that. And he is saying on the one hand that because $3 billion is sounding big and large and will make them look bad because he know and try to still not say that the NGC bust under them twice. He skip over that and then say, nah, or they make that money. But afterwards, giving himself fame that they were responsible to making sure that money come.
Right. And before that, he said they make the money. So you're right.
Yeah.
Let me share something, Doctor. I will stay long again, but let me share something.
Go ahead.
I have a brother, he's a deceased now, and brother, he was bright just like you.
Right.
You understand? Right?
Right.
I telling you, you see if wise people listening to you, they will understand what it is we're dealing with, what it is you're talking about. Yeah. You understand? Because on one hand, he's a big minister, was a prime minister.
Yeah, they push him as some kind of guru, but turned out to be a simpleton. Go ahead.
Yeah, but on one hand, he said, they make the money, right?
Yeah.
They make the money. And then when he realized they make the money, he said, it's because of them they make that money. So, you understand, God?
And he confirming what Kamala Prasad said. They are saying by saying how they got it. So you don't want no more proof as to whether or not the money exists because he double up on how it came. I mean, come on.
So when he realized now they really are the money, he said it's because of them they get our money. They are hang them so boy.
Yeah, boy, I ain't going that far. I don't want to be accused of inciting violence, but I agree with you.
let people get kicks to them people.
Yeah, I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you.
Kicks to them.
All right.
All right, brother.
Yes. People, I didn't realize it. It's almost quarter to 10. Sorry about that. We had to wait until Monday to finish this. Right? Sorry about that. I know that I'll leave you in limbo. It's an anticlimax, but of course, have to go. It is. Oh wow! Another call is coming in. I have to go. I mean, I had to get up 2 o'clock to start preparing for the ground report. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Final call.
Yeah, before I go, a pleasant good night to you. I want you to go take our early rest. But here what's going on.
Yeah.
You see this program?
Yeah.
Monday night, please God. I sponsor this program. I book in my airtime with you. Because here what's going on. You see, just before you take the call, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you, it's $19 US, right?
Yeah.
And that is, for the European and the other market, I want to ask Tino, right? Where all that money for the last 10 years, he was the energy minister, where he was hiding the rest. And every time, because this is not that child.
Yeah,
this
if
is
you
not
want,
the energy sector.
if you want to be as foolish as him and take things to the natural conclusion or direction that he is going, then you really could ask him that question, because you could leave out the fact that the circumstances of the industry, the oil and gas industry, was not then as it is now. But because he's so stupid to say that no, they never make the 3 billion, but come on to say, or went on to say how they made it and give details, shows how inept and how undeserving he was of being prime minister of this country.
No, this one, and I'll hang up before.
Yes.
Right, so for Monday night, right?
Yes.
I want to, and we'll discuss this one, because soon as UNC came in power, right, and negotiations start, the Shell ramp up the humanity by 15% more gas, you know. But anyway, we want 23 million.
He taking claim for that too, but we will go into all of that and not giving credit to anybody else. But the fact is that it exists, and therefore all you have to say, well, we're glad for the country, etc. But no, he tried to score political points where there is no need or should I say, you should forego that, to don't focus on that, because you will score none.
And in a favorite line, he should have shut his stink mouth, as he just says, shut up the mouth.
I hear you.
Good night, Uncle Lennox, and Tobago.
Yes, good night.
Monday,
good night,
please.
Yes, my people, of course, I have to go. Sorry about that, but of course, I know it has reached a very interesting part. But he continues, of course, to put his foot in his mouth, so to speak, both feet, in fact, in his mouth, and we will examine that on Monday. I know that all the people that are watching, especially PNM people, I know that you are shocked and you are spellbound that such one person could talk that level of hogwash and, of course, contradiction that clearly has no place in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. And we, of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself. Sorry, not Mikey. Mikey is the chairman of TDT, so he's our boss now. But I want to say, Andy and I will be on Talk City 91.1 from 6 to 9 o'clock. Of course, you can get it on Corridor Transformation, yes, from 6 to 9 tomorrow. You just tune into Corridor, you'll get it on YouTube. And, of course, view these and other issues that we would be raising from time to time on that program. Have a wonderful one. Bye-bye.
Patrice again, again. This one is for all of them, all of them, all of them. Let me tell you this, I don't care what you say about me.
Don't forget, of course, tomorrow night, no corridor. That's why I say Monday, right? No corridor Monday. No corridor tomorrow night. Sorry about that, but of course, we will have enough fun on Monday, on Monday, on the corridor. All right?